What it do, guys? Manjoume here, and today we're delving into the Children of the Atom arc for the Versus System 2-player card game. In our first episode, we're going to be covering Volume 2, Issue 4, the Utopia Battles. Let's open it up. This is brand new sealed. I'm unaware if there's any promo that comes with this. Seems like they usually hold off to put promos in these sort of giant-sized issues. On the front of the box, we have kind of like a white to gray color gradient, almost looks like a sky or like wind going. On the bottom, we have that same kind of a gray, dark gray gradient. The Utopia Battles, love it. Emma Frost, not sure who that is. Cyclops, and a Norman Osborn Iron Man character, I think. Like Oscorp posed as good guys or were good guys for a bit. We'll see more of that later. On the side here, we have a Versus System 2-player card game of the Utopia Battles. On the other side, same thing, but with that lighter side. This is kind of more darker. On the top, we see the Utopia Battles. A little hard to see, although the outline for the text does make it a little easier. It's a little hard to make white stand out when you have such a gradient, and you just need to do that outline. I think maybe a little thicker of an outline would have been a little better in this situation. And we have the two teams, the Resistance and Hammer. On the back of the box, introducing an all-new story arc for the Versus System 2-player card game. This first expansion in the Children of the Atom story arc features characters from both the X-Men and Hammer. Build your deck with iconic heroes and villains, Cyclops, Emma Frost, Norman Osborn, Weapon Omega, and more as the battle over Utopia begins. Easy to learn, difficult to master, new card mechanics, 200 all new cards, token sheet, and a full color rule book. See, it's ages 14 plus, 2 players, and about a 30-minute game. And about 30 minutes for a game. Let's open it up. Sometimes they won't even say there's a promo, and they'll just kind of appear in there. Although this one doesn't seem to be the case unless there's one here. So this one has the normal tokens, +1/1 counters, -1/1 counters, health off tokens, extra health tokens, and XP. So really you only need exactly this many 6, because if you have 3, 1, 2, 3, or you flip it over, 3. So usually don't need any more than that. And if there were a promo, it would have been on the front. There are none, so we'll just kind of set that aside. We have a rulebook here, which no doubt will tell us the name of the teams, including Resistance, which I was correct, and Hammer, which was a gimme. A little bit on all the cards, how to play, different team affiliations, and let's go to near the back for my favorite part, which is the suggested starting decks. And here it does have the suggested main character as well. We'll showcase these in another video. Let's start off with the Resistance because Cyclops is my favorite X-Men. And let's see if there's a way to get to it. You know what? I think we'll just go the easy route. This is definitely the easiest way to do it without potentially damaging anything. And even on the front, you see some damage on the card. Not too concerned. I can just get like a marker to fix that. But again, it's a main character, so it's not like it's going to get much more wear and tear. But this is a little bit of an older set, so I can forgive it. Cyclops, 5 health, range, 3/4 stat line. They'll follow him, main yellow. Draw a card if you have a face-up, Brotherhood of Mutants. Supporting character on your side, draw a card if you have a face-up X-Men supporting character on your side. The squad I've put together level up 1 time at the end of your turn if you have at least 1 face-up Brotherhood of Mutant, Resistance, and X-Men supporting character on your side. Cyclops gains an XP. So you're going to be running all 3 teams in this deck. He is level 2. He now has a 9/4 stat line. Trust the plan, main red. If you have at least 1 face-up Brotherhood of Mutant, Resistance, and X-Men supporting character on your side, put 3 1/1 counters on each of them. So he's great to support your supporting characters. Next up, we're looking at Emma Frost. 5 health range, 4/3 stat line, which is a reverse of Cyclops there. Schemer. When you play your first plot twist each turn, you may draw a card. Fluid Fidelity. Level up 5 times. When you recruit an hammer or resistance supporting character, Emma gains an XP. When she levels up, she levels into either her hammer or resistance level 2 card, depending on the team affiliation of the last supporting character from whom she gained XP. So, depending which one you have, she'll get that team affiliation. Her resistance version has 6/7 stat line, mental calculations. At the start of your turn, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put 2 on the bottom of your deck and the other 2 back on top. Seeker of Peace. During either player's turn, any combat red, choose an enemy attacker in the combat. It can't strike this turn. Emma may use this power any number of times each turn. Her hammer side, she no longer has range. She has 6 health, but a 7/6 stat line instead of a 6/7 stat line. This one has enhanced durability, so her diamond form. If Emma gets stunned other than by getting struck in combat, she doesn't get wounded. Keeper of Law. During either player's turn, any combat green, choose a character on your side in the combat. It strikes an additional time this combat. Emma may use this power any number of times each turn. Iceman. 5 health, range 6/1 stat line, so if you put a -1/1 counter, I think that actually stuns him and then he gains a wound. So gotta play it safe with him. Ice Slide, main red. Iceman has Flight and Invade this turn. Cold Hearted Drake. Level up 5 times. When an enemy character readies, Iceman gains an XP. His level 2, he now has a 10/3 stat line. And Cryokinesis, main blue. Freeze each enemy character. Exhaust them, then they can't ready on their next turn. So that's a power that the supporting character Iceman had in like the very first set. So given that we probably haven't seen this power in a while, good to see it here described. We have Pixie. 5 health, flight 1, 6 stat line, so I think that's kind of an inverse of Iceman there. Soul Dagger. During the player's turn, combat green. Choose an enemy character in the combat to lose each modifier it gained this combat. This includes attack and defense increases, decreases, as well as powers. Half Fairy. Level up 3 times. When a character pays a blue, Pixie gains an XP. Very specific, and her own power does not even play into that. Her level 2 is not an inverse of the level 2 Iceman, and she has Sihile Novarum Chinoth. During other player's turn, combat blue. If Pixie is defending, remove her from the combat. You may rearrange your formation. For the supporting lineup, we have a Nole. 1 cost 2 health, 1/2 stat line, climb, and regeneration. At the start of your turn, heal a wound from a Nole. Next, we have a Magma, who I am pretty sure started off in like X-Men Legends on the PS2. 1 cost 1 health, range 3/1 stat line, and Geothermokinesis. When an enemy supporting character with a 1/1 counter gets a -1/1 counter, stun that character. Hellion. 2 cost 1 health, flight 3/4 stat line, advanced telekinesis, main green, ready or exhaust a face-up character. Match. 2 cost 1 health, range 4/1 stat line, pyretic form. If match would strike a defender, put -1/1 counters equal to his attack on that defender instead, which could end up decreasing it enough to stun it. We have Pixie's supporting form, 3 cost 1 health, flight 4/4 stat line, teleportation spell. During other player's turn, combat blue. Remove each character on your side from the combat. Next up, we have Celeste. 3 cost 1 health, range 3/3 stat line, 1 of a kind, Stepford Cuckoo. When you recruit Celeste, she may pay a yellow. If she does, when she appears, you may put Mindy and or Phoebe from your hand onto your side. Then you draw a card for each Stepford Cuckoo on your side. So presumably, we have Mindy. 3 cost 1 health, range 3/3 stat line, 1 of a kind, and Stepford Cuckoo, same effect. And finally, we have Phoebe. 3 cost 1 health, range 3/3 stat line, 1 of a kind, and Stepford Cuckoo. So each one presumably has different personality. As far as I can see, this one plays a PSP, so she's probably my favorite. Ooh, next up we have Armor. 4 cost 1 health, range 6/5 stat line, psionic exoskeleton. During the other player's turn, combat yellow. Armor gets +10 defense this turn. There's a pretty cool energy Susanoo armor thing, really neat. Now we have a Rock Slide. 4 cost 2 health, 5/5 stat line, reform. Better than ever. During either player's turn, combat green. Rock Slide has plus 5/5 this combat for each other Rock Slide supporting character in your KO pile. And enhanced durability. Wow, we have Domino, 5 cost, 1 health, range, 5/8 stat line. Probability manipulation. When Domino attacks, flip a coin. If she wins the flip, stun the defender. When Domino defends, flip a coin. If she wins the flip, remove her from the combat and you may hide her. We have Iceman's supporting character, 5 cost, 2 health, range, 8/1 stat line, and Ice Slide. Avalanche, 6 cost, 1 health, range, 4/6 stat line, the big one. Main blue, green, red, KO up to 3 enemy basic locations with different types. So you're paying 3 in order to destroy 3. So you are ending up with face down, but on your next turn, you didn't lose any of those recruitment points. Your opponent will. Psylocke, 6 cost, 1 health, 6/6 stat line, telepathic amnesia, main yellow. The next time Psylocke stuns an enemy main character in melee combat this turn, that player discards their hand. We have one of the first that I've seen like this. I think we might have seen others, but this was a really funny one to see. We have Colossus with 7 costs, 3 health, 12/12 stat line, and no effects. Wolverine, 7 costs, 2 health, 9/7 stat line, animal senses. When Wolverine appears or enters combat, you may look at an enemy player's hand. Survival of the fittest. While Wolverine is wounded, when he stuns an enemy character in melee combat, wound it in extra time instead. Mercury, asterisk cost, 1 health, 0/0 stat line, malleable shape. As you recruit Mercury, pay any number of recruit points with a minimum of 1. She appears with that many plus 1/1 counters. Leap, Mercury has flight during your turn. So she could be either really cheap or very expensive. On to the plot twist, we have Fight the Good Fight. Main, recover and ready stunned character on your side. It has ferocious this turn. Long-term plan. Main, stun an enemy supporting character with a cost exactly equal to the number of resources on your side. You're not paying them, they just happen to have the same number. Sacred Ground. During either player's turn, combat a Brotherhood of Mutant, Resistance, or X-Men character on your side in the combat may pay any power symbol. If they do, they get plus 3/3 this combat. If they paid with Asteroid M, Utopia, or School for Gifted Youngsters, they get plus 6/6 instead. So all those are the wild locations for each of those 3 teams. Speaking of, we now look at our special location, Utopia. This is that wild location for the Resistance team, meaning if you pay this for Sacred Ground, you get plus 6/6 for that combat instead of the 3/3. Then we have our Laboratory, Academy, Fortress, and Training Ground. Next, we're going to take a look at the Hammer deck, which I do see perforation on this one, so that actually was a great deal easier. I was about to say I shouldn't speak too quickly, just because it could just not work out. The cards in general, there's still a bit of wear along the edges. I'm not entirely concerned, because one, I could get like a marker and just kind of mark around the edges, or just not do anything and just leave them up and just be done with it. First up, we have Norman Osborn, 5 health, 1/6 stat line, aka Iron Patriot, and Green Goblin, no fatalities, main green, daze an enemy character. Director of Hammer, level up 4 times. When a Hammer character on your side stuns an enemy character but doesn't KO them, he gains an XP, which includes no fatalities. His level 2, he has flight, range, and a 7/6 stat line. Bring me their heads and hearts. Hammer characters on your side are lethal. Dark Avengers, Dark X-Men. Hammer characters on your side are also Avengers and X-Men. Dark Beast, 5 health, 2/5 stat line. Techno Genius, at the start of your turn, draw a card for each equipment on your side. Dark Scientist, level up 6 times. At the end of your turn, Dark Beast gains XP equal to the total cost of equipment on your side. His level 2, 3/10 stat line. The Thrill of Experimentation, main yellow, put -1/1 counters equal to the total cost of equipment on your side on an enemy character. Weapon Omega, 6 health, flight range, 3/3 stat line, mutant energy absorption, main blue. Each Brotherhood of Mutant, Resistance, and X-Men supporting character on your side loses and can't gain powers. Put a +1/1 counter on Weapon Omega for each power loss this way. The Collective, level up 8 times. When Weapon Omega gains a +1/1 counter, he gains an XP. His level 2 now has a 6/6 stat line, addicted to mutant energy. As a Brotherhood of Mutant, Resistance, or X-Men supporting character appears on your side, it loses and can't gain powers. Put +1/+1 counters on Weapon Omega for each power lost this way. So this one was optional. Now it's mandatory. So he does get the benefit, but it hurts everyone else. Our next one does not have a team affiliation. It is Simon Trask. 5 health, 0/6 stat line, Humanity Now. You cannot put Brotherhood of Mutant, Resistance, or X-Men cards in your deck. Preposition X. Level up 5 times. When an enemy character appears, Trask gains 1 XP for each team affiliation it has that it doesn't share with a character on your side. It is level 2. It has range and now a 5/8 stat line, Bio Sentinel. The bloodline must be purged. When an enemy, Brotherhood of Mutant, Resistance, or X-Men character gets stunned, you may ready each Bio Sentinel on your side. Human Sentinel 1. Main blue or yellow. Choose a supporting character on your side to become a Bio Sentinel with +5 attack, range, and lethal this turn. At the end of your turn, KO it. Onto the supporting lineup, we have who actually is Mystique, masquerading as Professor X. 1 cost, 1 health, 1/4 stat line, impersonating Professor X. Mystique has the leader while Professor X isn't on your side. Mutant Bomb. At the end of your turn, if Mystique is in your front row, your main character may pay a red. If it does, KO her and put 3 -1/1 counters on each enemy front row character. That's dark. Simon Trask's supporting character version is artwork from its level 2. 1 cost, 1 health, 0/2 stat line, Humanity's Last Stand. When Trask appears, he may pay an Earth. If he does, KO an enemy supporting character that doesn't share team affiliation with a character on your side. So it has to be different. I didn't think I'd see her on this side. We have Dagger with 2 cost, 1 health, range, 2/5 stat line, Light Force Manipulation. If a -1/1 counter would be put on a character on your side, you can put a +1/1 counter on that character instead. Shifting Loyalties. At the end of your turn, if there's a face-up Brotherhood of Mutant, Resistance, or X-Men character and Dagger has Hammer, she moves to that side, loses her team affiliation, and gains Brotherhood of Mutant, Resistance, and or X-Men respectively. So I guess if they have any of those 3, she becomes that. Dark Beast. 2 cost, 2 health, 2/3 stat line, Dark Scientist. You pay 2 less to play evil equipment to a minimum of 1. So they can't be free, but they do get pretty cheap. Next up, we have Bullseye, who is impersonating Hawkeye, which is fun to see them doing all these things. 3 cost, 1 health, range, 4/4 stat line, impersonating Hawkeye. Bullseye has Sniper, while Hawkeye isn't on a side. So the best counter pick to these decks would be a deck full of the real versions. Well, we saw Dagger. Who would have thought? We also have Cloak. 3 cost, 1 health, flight, 3/3 stat line. Dark Force Channeling. When another character appears on a side, put -1/1 counters on it equal to its cost. And then he also has Shifting Loyalties, so he might swap over. Now, the idea here is that if you have both of them out, him and Dagger, that because of Cloak, whenever you play a third character or your opponent plays one, they get -1/1 counters, but because of Dagger, when yours would get negative, it actually becomes positive. So they do play really well together. Dakin. 4 cost, 2 health, 5/5 stat line, impersonating Wolverine. Dakin has Berserker while Wolverine isn't on a side. Funny enough, he is Wolverine's son. I don't know who this is. Moonstone. 4 cost, 1 health, flight range, 6/4 stat line. Pretty strong, to be honest. Impersonating Miss Marvel. Moonstone has +1 health while Miss Marvel isn't on a side. This power remains on while Moonstone is face down. That way, if she were stunned, she'd be face down, her power turns off. Oops, now she just dies even though she had +1 health. So that keeps it consistent. Mimic. 5 cost, 1 health, flight range, 4/4 stat line, freeze, genius, and Techish Shield. During other player's turn, combat yellow, the defending character can't be stunned this combat. You may use this power any number of times each turn. A lot of keywords, all pretty good. Next up, we have Venom, using the Venom Mantle. 5 cost, 2 health, 7/7 stat line, aka Scorpion. So it's Scorpion using that mantle. Impersonating Spider-Man. Venom has mobile while Spider-Man isn't on a side. Now, the funny thing is, he's doing the pose that I believe is on the iconic cover of Secret Wars when he first gets that suit. It's pretty funny that he's doing that. I bet he's doing that to like mock him or something. Here we have their leader, Iron Patriot. 6 cost, 1 health, flight range, 5/7 stat line, aka Norman Osborn, and Green Goblin. Lower the hammer. When Iron Patriot appears, you may turn an enemy location face down. Really good. Turning them face down means they have less accessibility to their superpowers. Weapon Omega, 6 cost, 1 health, flight range, 6/6 stat line, Dark Invention. Main green, put a vitality counter on Weapon Omega for each Omega machine component equipment on your side. More on that later. Ares, 7 cost, 3 health, 10/7 stat line, Dodge, Combat Master, and Lethal. Namor, 7 cost, 2 health, flight, 9/9 stat line, Imperious Rex. During either player's turn, combat green, double Namor's current attack and defense until the end of this combat. Shifting loyalties. Oh no. Sentry, 8 cost, 2 health, flight range, 18/18 stat line, Reluctant God. Sentry cannot strike. Mindfulness. During either player's turn, combat yellow, Sentry loses Reluctant God this combat. So that, I think, means he can attack, but when he attacks, he can't strike, so he can't really do anything. But you could then use his power so that he can. Likewise, when he gets attacked, he cannot strike back unless you use that power. So if you don't have yellow on board, he can protect stuff great because he has flight. He's really strong, so he'll be good to defend your main character, keep him in the front. Then when you finally do get the yellow, he can make some big moves. Now on to the equipment. We have Omega Machine Component, 1 cost, 1 of a kind, and Power Drain. When an enemy character recovers, put a -1/1 counter on it. Another Omega Machine Component, 2 cost, 1 of a kind, Power Drain. When an enemy character readies, put a -1/1 counter on it. Omega Machine Component, 3 cost, 1 of a kind, Power Drain. When an enemy character appears, put a -1/1 counter on it. Omega Machine Component, 4 cost, 1 of a kind, Power Drain. When an enemy character exhausts, put a -1/1 counter on it. I think you would exhaust it to attack, too. So that's interesting. For their plot twist lineup, we first have Spin Master. Main, double the -1/1 counters on each enemy character. So all the equipment generated -1/1 counters. This just like multiplies them. Out position. Main, put a +1/1 counter or -1/1 counter on a character. Then you may move it to a different row on its side. Then we have Hammer HQ, which is the wild special location for the Hammer team, being blue, yellow, green, and red. Then we have the obligatory laboratory, academy, fortress, and training ground. Well, guys, that's it for the Versus System 2-player card game, Children of the Atom Arc, Volume 2, Issue 4, The Utopia Battles. Which side are you on? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to stay up to date on my videos and live streams about YouTube and Twitch, check out links in the description below, like, comment, subscribe, and consider joining. That's all for now, guys. Manjoume out.